Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Bloody Brilliant podcast. It is I, Jamie, as always, joined with Emma. I'm pointing in the wrong direction there. There you go. It's Emma. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm just noticing you've got a little pinhead t-shirt on. I'm
Yeah,
just sporting a tank top with burnt shoulders. So
I
there you
try
go.
and keep it horror related in some sort of fashion, if not edgy, if one
Well,
comes
I'm
first.
burnt, so does that not count as horror? The sun is horror. Don't mess with
There
it.
you go.
I go with my background. I've got my iZombie and Pennywise, the dancing clown, in the background. So that's my horror for this week.
Yeah.
But with this one, we were just having a little discussion today, as I'm sure hopefully you are all aware. If you haven't seen, we have got on Instagram a little story section. I don't know how it works. Emma's the one who set all of that up, where it tells you our schedule of what we're doing each week. So fortnightly, we'll be doing a new episode. This week is just us discussing some horror. This week we'll be looking at horror TV shows and our introduction to horror TV shows that we've enjoyed over the past, and maybe some that we would like to see down the line as well. So, and then you can join us next week where we will be discussing, which I'm sure Emma's very excited for. Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not,
I am curious to why you've never watched it then.
I think, no, we won't get into it too much. I think I've got into my head about it that I'm not going to like it. And I don't know why, but I've got it in my head, I'm not going to like it. And then now I've just always been like, nah, I don't like that, even though I've never watched it. So it might be that I'm like, yeah, and then we get to that point and I'm actually like, no, actually, it was really good.
This
Because
is
I
the best
like
film
films
I've ever seen.
similar films to it. I don't know. It's the Groundhog Day situation thing that gets me. But anyway, that's another week's. This week's is TV shows.
Yeah, but just quickly, when you talk about Groundhog Day, there are so many great Groundhog Day films. Live Die Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, and then you've also got Palm Springs, which is my film of the year last year. If you haven't seen that, it's
Okay. I haven't seen
amazing.
it
So
yet. No.
there are some really great films that do follow that trope. And Edge of Tomorrow, Tom Cruise. So there you go.
Gotta get Tom Cruise in there, haven't we? We should start that as like
Exactly.
a rolling thing of all the times you
The
mentioned
Tom
Tom
Cruise
Cruise.
counter.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good job. I'm pretty sure you've seen Interview with a Vampire, haven't you?
I have. That is one of the
Damn
very
it.
few
Damn it. Fair enough. I was going to say, we're going to
Tom
put that on the list
Cruise
at some point.
Tom Cruise films that I have seen. Yeah, one of the very few.
It's the only horror film he's done, so
That's
fair
probably
enough.
why it's the only one I've seen.
Exactly. But I mean, he's a great big movie star anyway. He's not going to do TV, so let's stop talking about Tom Cruise. We're here to talk about horror TV shows. When we were discussing 4 weeks ago of our introductions to horror, I know you mentioned your introduction to horror was actually a TV show.
Yes, it
So,
was.
I mean, is it going to be the exact same answer again? What is your first introduction to horror? What are your early memories?
So, slightly off. So I wanted to talk about it last time we spoke about our introductions to horror because it kind of came hand in hand with Buffy, but I'm not going to talk about Buffy at this instance. I'm going to talk about Most Haunted. Um, so my mum was really into like Most Haunted when I was younger. Again, this is kind of coming back to my mum's TV habit. This is how I got influenced. But yeah, anything like anything like that where it's like investigating, Yvette Fielding. It's so obviously fake for the most part. Now you look back on it, most of these TV shows kind of grasp at straws of what is and isn't real, and what's like trick of the light and all that sort of stuff. But that was like my earliest memory of anything that was like horror related that wasn't something that I chose to sit and watch. If that makes sense, I think that was kind of one of those ones that I was like, not really
So,
fussed about this.
I think everybody, especially with our UK listeners, has probably watched Most Haunted. If you haven't, watch it because I'm pretty sure somebody's seen Derek Acora call somebody. I can't remember. There's so many Derek Acora memes out there where he's just basically possessed, going and I can't
Yeah.
remember the most famous one calling someone a bitch or something. But
That does sound about right. I
yeah,
think the US equivalent is like Ghost Adventures with Zach Baggins. I believe that's right. So that essentially that, but in British castles with a woman that screams at everything. and
That's not enough.
a medium rather than just people investigating. There is like an actual medium there. Actual medium, yes.
And I think because for most people that know you know that you've worked at the Pleasure Beach well, so that's even more exciting when they did an episode at the Pleasure Beach. Does that mean you've never gone on the Ghost Train, or you want to go on it more?
So the Ghost Train's actually one of my favorite rides ever, and I love it. Again, it's kind of that thing of um, it's it's like campy horror, but also like at the same time there is that like element of oh, it's haunted, because you do get when you work in places that are old, like you know theme parks and things like that. There is always going to be some sort of like oh, have you heard such a place is haunted? I think everybody has those stories from where they work, especially like I said when they're old buildings. But yeah, it just made me like it even more, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I know a lot of people have watched. I watched a few of them. They used to do like Most Haunted Live and stuff, didn't they? I remember all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff on Living TV when that was a thing.
Yep. Oof, we're going back some years now, aren't we?
It was great. I was going to say probably it would be one of my earlier memories because I think everybody. I mean, if you haven't watched it, I don't understand why you haven't watched it. But like everybody watched Most Haunted.
Yeah. When you were like channel flicking, it was just one of the ones that you always ended up on at some point.
Yeah, and I think similar to that as well. I know it's going on to scripted television now, but I'm surprised. I thought you probably would have said, I don't know if you count it as horror. I know a lot of people do, but X Files. I've never watched X Files.
So I haven't either, but I mean,
That's fine. I feel better that you haven't watched it either. Maybe that's what we should do. We'll take a month off and just watch all 11 series of X Files.
I mean, I wouldn't complain, but I think the thing that always put me off X Files, and I feel like this is an unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion time.
Unpopular opinion time. I don't gravitate towards sci-fi horror very often because I don't think space like that just doesn't interest me. So I don't find that as viable horror in my eyes. There's some that I understand, I get, but yeah,
Look
like
at your T-shirt. I'm pretty sure that's supernatural.
well, it's no sci-fi, so like
sci-fi,
space. So no, supernatural, yeah, obviously, but like yeah, space doesn't really like call to me as much as ever like, and a lot of people are like, well, don't you like Alien? And I'm like, it's okay. And that's what gets me the unpopular opinion of, oh my god, what do you mean? And I feel like X Files kind of falls into that. It's
I
kind
agree
of
with Alien. Like, I watched it on the 24-hour marathon that I did last year because again, it's one of those I haven't watched in a long time. So I was like, you know, everyone says it's the greatest horror ever. When we did our greatest movie ever, spoilers if you haven't listened yet, I'm pretty sure it won the 70s. But because I know you're still catching up, I'm sure. But
you have so many different podcasts to catch up with, my friend. I am catching up.
That's why I gotta keep busy. But so with kind of what I was saying now, with Alien, I was like, yeah, I'll rewatch it, and it was kind of like that and The Thing. I was like, fair enough.
I like The Thing. I like The Thing more personally, but I think it was because of the isolation of the like it's on planet Earth, the isolation with The Thing, rather than it being in space. I think that's what kind of made me like it more.
Space.
Yeah, I don't even really like Jaws either, so it doesn't really.
Just bringing out all the unpopular opinions.
I know.
Don't like Jaws. Don't
people
like
are
Alien.
Gonna be up in
don't
arms.
like X Files. Just unsubscribe now.
I never said I didn't like X Files. I agreed with you that I would want to watch it, but it wasn't one of those ones that came on my TV in my household, unfortunately.
No. I think growing up for me, watching TV, I remember the adverts vividly on ITV2 when Scary got sexy. As it was advertised, Scary just got sexy because you had two handsome guys, for people that can't see me, I am air quoting here, of Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki, obviously the longest running like supernatural TV show ever in Supernatural, which finished last year, 15 years. I mean, that's half of my age. So, you know, we talk about early memories. There you go. So
Yeah.
I remember, like I said, I remember he had Hot Time, Summer in the City. That song was all the adverts for ITV2 back in the day, and it had Scary Just Got Sexy, and it had all like the woman in white, like jumping off the bridge and stuff, and Supernatural. And that was probably what I can think of the first proper horror TV show that I watched. And then later on, I watched earlier ones like I've got Alfred Hitchcock Presents, if you count that as a horror, it's kind of more suspenseful thriller. And then I haven't watched them all, but I do have them. By some means, Freddy's Nightmares. You ever watch Freddy's Nightmares?
No.
As in Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I understand. I've heard of it. I understand I've never seen it. You always have the most obscure things. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. You just it's part of your collection. I appreciate it.
yeah, exactly. But it's basically Tales of the Crypt to a degree. It's basically
Okay, fair enough.
different stories, but Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger hosting the night, like Elvira kind of thing. Just like, here are some stories. It's just Freddy just doing that, and then there's all different stories. Freddy's not even in it; he's just hosting it, but it's just weird horror stories.
I thought this morning that I had picked up my Elvira t-shirt because it has like the top bit that's like faded like this, and it wasn't. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna have to deal with it now. But I would have been on theme with that as well. Imagine on theme.
I had no idea who this woman was, by the way. Like, I was watching that in Search of Darkness thing in this Elvira person. I've seen her face, but I have no idea who she was. I was like, oh, is that what she does too?
So just for context, that In Search of Darkness was like what, last year, this year? One was, or was it the year before?
2018 and then 2020.
Okay. So still we're talking about this time. You've only just
I've seen her. I've seen the woman with the big breasts in black.
Well, I guess if you've seen Simpsons, you kind of already understand the concept of Elvira because they have their own version in Boobarella.
Yeah, I had no idea who she was. Like, I knew of her, but I was like, oh, like, I knew she was like Mistress of Darkness or whatever, but I had no idea it was just her. Kind of similar to Freddy's Nightmares, if I'm right. It's just her hosting scary stories like Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like small cable like TV that she used to do, and they were just like, we just need someone that looks appealing to sort of be the bumper in between the episodes, and that's where like it was born from. I realise now that we're talking about our early introductions to horror through TV, and I thought of one just then, and I can't believe I didn't even think of it before. Treehouse of Horror episodes in The Simpsons. Like, even before you're old enough to be watching things like Most Haunted and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you've probably seen a Treehouse of Horror episode. The best episodes, personally.
Exactly. You got Willie the Groundskeeper as Freddy Krueger. You've got Smarch. Do you remember Smarch? I'm pretty sure there's an episode, and on the calendar they've got
the 13th month
Smarch. Yeah, exactly. That's the one I remember the most.
Stupid Smarch weather. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely first memories would probably be Simpsons.
Yeah, but I think again, this is one of those things of horror written into the mainstream. A lot of people say that they don't like horror, they can't stand it, but they don't realize that they're actually consuming horror to an extent through these mainstream medias, and they don't think of it as scary because it isn't necessarily portrayed as scary in those situations because it's supposed to be a joke for the most part with the Simpsons.
Yeah,
I feel like interesting.
With it being cartoons and stuff, that makes it a little bit better. Is there a cartoon horror? I'm trying to think now.
Well, language kind of. There's anime horror, which is obviously like Japanese like centric horror. So I would count that as well. But animated horror, off the top of my head, can't think of anything other than obviously any Scooby-Doo kind of film.
Scooby-Doo Supernatural, there you go. We love Scooby-Doo.
Oh my god, yes, that crossover.
The Scooby-Natural crossover. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, that was great. But I'm just talking about Scooby-Doo the movies as well, and then obviously the Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Like, I'm sure, surely they count. There's ghosts.
Yeah.
Old Man Carruthers is unmasking.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the things. It was always unmasking, wasn't it? There was always a resolution to it, which I guess is good kind of way because then the kids are just not getting too scared, I guess. But nothing
Because the
ever
monsters aren't real.
exactly, and nothing like that ever really scared me as I was younger. I think I can't even think off the top of my head what scared me when I was younger. Probably public speaking more than anything. So
Welcome to the podcast.
yeah, welcome. So it's like I think horror has never really been too scary for me. I actually got more scared of stuff as I got older, to be completely honest with you. That kind of segues nice into our next part of the thing rather than our early memories.
Yeah, I just want to ask, like you said that you get scared more now as you're older. I have one thing that I absolutely hate in horror movies. I don't know why it's a hate like that, but what I hate in horror movies. What is your main vice that you hate to see? Like you can't look at. I can withstand a lot of stuff. There's one thing I can't.
I think I know yours, but I'm not going to say it until you say it because I think I know it. But I have two, and literally, it comes up so often in my actual general life that people who know me and listen to this will probably be like, I already know what she's going to say. Broken bones going through skin. I don't care if the limb's gone and you can see the bone, but it's if the limb's broken and the bone's out. Can't deal with that. And simply worse than that, needles. Taking blood or ripping out IVs. That action there just alone just no. I can't deal with it. I pass out when I get blood taken. Like I can't deal with it. And again, there's going to be that thing of well, you watch horror films and you watch all these people getting chopped up and all this, and you're covered in tattoos and piercings. Yeah, that's not the context. I just can't deal with needles. What's yours?
I thought you loved Saw too.
I do.
That's like the worst scene in like.
That is the worst trap. Give me every single trap. Oh, it's making my tummy do somersaults. It's making my tummy do somersaults. The pit is I would rather be put in any other. I would rather be put in any other. Throw me in a pit of needles, and I'll just
lie there.
Pass away. I will pass away right there and then. No.
I'm quite lucky. I don't think there has been a trap for mine in Saw, which is why I love it. But it's eyes. I hate stuff to do with eyes.
So I knew yours was eyes, and I'm thinking when you said that there's not a trap, there was technically a trap, but it never succeeded. So right in the beginning, there's one where
I think there was the shotgun to the eye at one point. That was kind of more to the face, but yeah, that's in number two.
That's in number two. I think it's either beginning of two or in the middle of one, or maybe three. Anyway, it's one of the beginning traps, and the guy's in the room with all the lock combinations, and he's got. Is it that one?
He has to cut it out of his eye to get the key.
Yeah, that's one.
Number one.
Is that number one? I might have combined two traps there, but yes, the Venus flytrap one. I combined two traps there. Ignore me. The first trap I was trying to describe is the one where the guy's covered in flammable liquid and he's trying to find the combination to get in the thing. But doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not number one now. Just thinking of it because that's Amanda's where she has to like cut into it to get the key. That's what I was thinking of. She has to cut into the guy's chest to get the key. Literally, I'm pretty sure it's number 4 because it's in Scary Movie 4. Right. I'm pretty sure it's in Scary Movie 4 that they have to cut behind the eye to get it, and that's based off Saw 4.
Right. Okay. So, maybe. But regardless, there's a hint at eyes. But I guess you've not seen. I was gonna say, I guess you've not seen Would You Rather then.
No, I mean the picture is literally enough to put me off. I know. Yeah, there's a bit. She'd take a razor right across the eye. Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
That whole film is very. It builds you with anxiety, and then the payoff is just no. I don't want to ruin it if you ever do choose to watch it, but
the worst part is because as a script writing student, I had to do we did it in first year and last year, So it was 2016, 2019, and it's a really early French film that was released in like 1917. I don't want to know the title of it. I'll block it out of my mind. But basically, it's just loads of random shots, and all of a sudden, there's a guy there with a paper and just slits his eye, and it's like, obviously it's like fake and stuff. And then the next take it goes to something else and goes back, and it's just goose, and it's like, it's awful. And then I was like, and then in my third year, we were watching this film. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. And also, it's like, I know what's happening now. I was like, oh, because I blocked it out, and it was like, I've seen this before. I'm sure we have. Oh shit, it's this. And I was like, nope.
You blocked it from your memory. Like, I can't go through this again.
And then that's like in the 19th century French film. It's ridiculous.
French are always breaking boundaries, that sort of stuff, though.
The bastards. Yeah. Sorry, French listeners, but that film. If anyone wants to tell me the name of that film, please don't.
Please don't.
But there was one in Hostel, which is why I've never watched Hostel in full as well. There's a bit where they get a fire poker and like burn the eye and it pops.
Yeah, they get blowtorch to her face. Yeah, it's very. Maybe we should go off this topic because we're both getting kind of like we're getting like, oh my god.
The whole episode of trying to make the other person throw up first.
No, don't. No.
But,
no.
It was a nice segue before, and then we went off topic. But we
yeah,
because you were talking about needles and stuff, and like abstracting blood, and I thought, well, isn't that just a great segue for my favourite TV show, Dexter? Because what he does, if you've never seen it, is he only kills bad people, like serial killers, child molesters, this kind of thing, and then as part of his rituals to keep a trophy, he then makes a cut along the cheek and then takes the blood and keeps them in blood slides. Have you seen Dexter?
No, I haven't.
I've
never seen. I know I'm gonna have to hand him a friendship card. I know it's illegal. I never got round to it, and I am really, really bad. And we're probably gonna, if we ever talk about TV shows in general, not even just horror ones, if there is too many seasons and I'm late to the party, I ain't even getting involved. I can't deal.
It's only 96 episodes. It's only like 12 episodes a season, Dexter.
So the way that you said that's 96 episodes, that straight away I'm like, I ain't got time for that.
How do you think we're going to do X-Files? There's like 11 seasons of 24 episodes.
So this is another thing of why I've never watched X-Files, because I have to start from the beginning. And even then, I can't, how long's an episode? Like 40 minutes?
45 minutes, yeah.
Right, okay, 45 minutes. Call it an hour. Whatever, round it up for an hour. That's 96 hours of my life I ain't getting back again. What about if I don't like it? Because if I don't...
You will love it. It is.
But if I don't like it as well,
ever made.
I have to finish it. It might take me forever.
The only problem with Dexter, which I'm sure basically most of, if not half of the population would agree with me, is it's probably one of the worst finales ever to any TV show because it was awful.
Oh, I don't know, because I hear things about Lost, and I'm literally about 5 episodes from finishing Lost, because I've never watched it before. I'm not ever going to look at any like spoilers or anything like that if anyone ever comments on these videos.
Because we have to move the island.
Well, I've got past that bit, so that's not spoiled. But I've heard that the ending's not great, and if you're telling me that with like... Don't tell me then, and don't tell me. I've gone these many years without knowing the ending. No! I'm going to like exit out of this real quick. Like, no! So
she actually did exit. You actually just broke up then. It was like, she just froze. I was like, oh, she actually has left.
No, that's it. I'm gone. I'm leaving. But yeah, so it's the same sort of premise with Dexter. I was too late to the party every time with Dexter, and the other thing as well is that like I wouldn't be able to watch it on, like I wouldn't have the means to watch it. Like I'd have to do it online, and I'm too lazy for that. Too lazy.
Yeah. For anyone in the UK that does want to watch it, I'm currently rewatching it at the moment with my girlfriend. We are on series 3 now, and it's on Sky, so you can watch it via Sky Atlantic.
So I don't have Sky. It's one of those things, like, I feel unless... And even then, I've only just recently got Amazon, like, consistently. So when I was younger and this was going on like in its peak, I'd have to watch stuff like this through streaming services, and it's not always great. Quality isn't always great.
I want to say, I'm pretty sure it used to be on Netflix back in the day before the whole HBO and Sky deal came about. And then obviously everything now HBO wise is on Sky Atlantic. But I'm sure like back in the day it used to be on Netflix a little bit. But like I said, season 4 of Dexter is hands down the greatest season of any TV show ever made.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
It's a fact. Not a bold statement, it's a fact. Anybody that has watched Dexter will probably agree with me. Like the ending, the season. I'm obviously not going to spoil it for anybody, but the ending to that season is phenomenal. The whole season. John Lithgow is in that season as well, and he's amazing in it. Exactly, and it's just amazing. Like I said, I'm rewatching. I can't wait to get back up to series 4. I do agree. It's slightly that goes down a little bit, but there's so many great moments within the series, and series 1 and 2 holds it up to be one of the greatest TV shows ever made, and that's why it's my favorite horror TV show. I do have a second place one as well.
Well, I want you to tell me more than one because I have a few. I have like my main favorite, but there's others that I want to talk about, but I don't think I'll be able to get. Yeah,
that's fine. It's lucky I'm prepared then because it's Bates Motel. So Bates Motel. Have you watched Bates Motel, Emma? You're gonna say no now. This is on Netflix, so you have no reason.
I know it's on Netflix, and to be honest, it's on my list. It is. It's there. It's waiting for me. It's getting the time. It's getting the time to sit and put it on. Because I watch a lot of TV with my boyfriend, and he's not as massively into horror as I am. So I have to kind of like, if we're watching TV together, it has to be on his terms. If we watch horror, I'd have to ask, cool.
Can we please?
Can we please? Yeah. And I get to choose a lot, so I have to, give and take. TV shows are more his choices. Films are mine.
But Bates Motel, for anyone that doesn't know, judging by the name, it's the Bates Motel, which is made famous in the 1960 movie Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, and it follows Norman Bates and his mother, Norma Bates, who you don't really see in the film besides skeleton. It's not a spoiler. It's been out 61 years.
I was going to spoil that. Don't
That's
spoil
61 years.
The film, you can.
Yeah. And basically their relationship, and I'm pretty sure there's only 5 seasons, could be 6, I'm pretty sure it's 5. And then in the 5th season kind of leads up to Psycho. There is the shower scene from Psycho in Bates Motel, and Rihanna plays Marion Crane.
What a
exactly.
What? That's so strange. Great. I love Rihanna. Rihanna's
so
good
strange
at acting as well, so that's such a random. I guess it's of the time as well, just to have like someone like Rihanna in that. Why do you like it so much?
Why? I mean, for I want to say like I absolutely like Psycho is one of my favorite films ever made. So kind of a little bit apprehensive about going into a TV show based off of a film that I love so much. Similar to like Scream, like the Scream TV show is okay, like it's nothing special. It will never come close to the film. Bates Motel does come close to the film. It is that good. Freddie Highmore as Norman Bates is basically a young Anthony Perkins. I don't know, like he plays the role of Norman Bates to perfection. Like he has the stare, he's got the look, he's got the mannerisms, like he plays the role phenomenally. And he's British, so yay, go Brits.
We love some representation, even if it's American accent.
Exactly. And Vera Farmiga as Norma Bates is amazing as well. Like Vera Farmiga.
I love her so much. Anyway,
but
in general,
it's just so good because it's gone.
I was just gonna say, I think I don't know how you make 5 seasons out of it. That's the only thing that I'm a bit like. I don't know what is there too much filler. These are the kind of things that kind of puts me off.
Yeah.
But
no, I understand what you mean. I think the only thing that put me off a little bit was they introduced a half brother, But I mean, like Norman
Oh.
Bates's like backstory wasn't really told within the Psycho films, and then Psycho 2, 3. I haven't seen Psycho 4, the beginning, but I'm pretty sure it might tell you something in that. But they created this character for the TV show. But basically, it shows him as a teenager joining school, and then he has these urges that he wants to kill. And then basically, the end of season 1, he kills somebody, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Like somebody like big, shall we say, like a main character kind of thing, like somebody dies. I think he kills like one other person in the series, maybe in season 1. I can't remember. It's been ages since I've watched it. And then he's like I said, it's the progression of him changing. I think that's what makes like him playing the role of mother is amazing. Like he starts dressing in Vera Farmiga's clothes and is Norma Bates and starts having the mannerisms of Norma, and he's you just see the deterioration of his character, and it's more about the characters around him as well because it builds the universe. You got Nesta Carbonell as one of the sheriffs in there. Like I said, Vera Farmiga as Norma Bates because you don't really get to see her story. Nesta Carbonell, I mean, he's in Lost.
I was going to say that name. I recognise it. I can't think for the life of me who he is.
He looks like Anthony Perkins as well.
Who looks like Anthony Perkins in Lost?
The best thing is, I'll send you a video after, or if anybody that's listening does want to watch this video, type in Bates Motel auditions. It's like a parody video from after season 1, and they have Vera Farmiga, Freddie Highmore, Olivia Cook, Nesta Carbonell, all like auditioning for their roles, like coming on and reading for the parts. And Nesta Carbonell comes out saying, "I'm reading for Norman Bates because I look like Anthony Perkins," and he takes off his jacket and he's wearing just a t-shirt, a white t-shirt, and it says, "I was on Lost." And he's like, and it basically makes a line. He just says, "You know, I was on Lost." But it's a great TV show. Like I said, the deterioration of the character of Norman Bates throughout the series and the role of mother in it, as obviously Vera Farmiga, and the way you see why he becomes the way he is in the film Psycho. And then, like I said, halfway through season 5, you'll have the shower scene and some of the actions from Psycho, and then it goes off its own and concludes in its own way, which is different from the Psycho film. And like I said, it's something completely different, something that you wouldn't expect to be good because it's on A&E in America. Like A&E, it's like, all right, fair enough. But it's so good, and it's probably one of the most underrated TV shows ever made.
Oh, again, another bold statement on that one.
I said probably one of the most, whereas Dexter is the greatest TV show of all time.
Oh, I've dropped my thing. My knife's trying to stab me. Okay.
I mean, you're going to disagree. I mean, I'm sure you've got your own favourites.
Well, I have. I think if anyone has, had a look at the Instagram, they may have already seen some pictures from our favourites at least. So you might have had a heads up. But mine is Hannibal. Ah, look at the pictures in there. So sorry if you're listening, but if you want to look on YouTube, it's in the video.
It's just a picture of Mads Mikkelsen with a skull.
With a skull. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs, the whole Thomas Harris universe fan. I have a Hannibal Lecter universe tattoo on my leg that has bits from the TV show, the films, and the books, all in one piece. I love Hannibal. I think it's fantastic. I think the thing with the TV show is that some of the filming is so beautiful. There's an art to it, and I think that kind of comes through in the it comes through in the food, the just the costume, the set design, everything. It's such a pretty show that you almost forget that this man is eating people. But you don't, but you almost do, because you sometimes look at the food and you're like, damn, it looks good, and then you're like, oof, no, that's a human leg.
I know we're not going to talk about it as much because I count it more as a comedy rather than a horror, but it's like iZombie. Like, how good does it look like to eat brains? Like when she's frying it up into like stir fries and stuff.
They shouldn't make it look this good, to be honest. I think as well is that the depth of the character of Hannibal Lecter in the TV series is amazing. I think I absolutely love Anthony Hopkins. I love him as Hannibal Lecter, but we also need to like remember that this is a European gentleman that's like come literally from a great background. I guess I'm probably going in a bit too much detail in the background if you've not read the books, but a nice wealthy family, good home life, has a horrendous childhood, a very brief moment in time during the war, and then that kind of like builds him into this person that he is today. And it's just that constant reminder of, it could literally be the most normal person that is the prime suspect, but you don't even realise. But poor old Will, he had a right bloody bad time during these TV series. Poor guy. But I like there was You can ask your question.
I was gonna say I've only seen maybe series one or half of season one. I can't remember. I do own it because I am a hoarder to a degree, as you've seen. But it's is it Brian Darcy? Is that who it is that plays Will?
Hugh
Dancy. That's the one. Yeah. It's I was going to ask who is your favorite Hannibal. I know you kind of said that it goes a little bit more in depth with Mads Mikkelsen, but there was others that people may not know. Obviously, you've got Red Dragon, and you've also got the there's a fourth one. Who's the fourth one?
There's four. So
Manhunter.
There's the gentleman from Manhunter. I can't remember the actor
Brian
from Manhunter.
Cox.
So oh yeah, of course. I'm thinking of Dolomite in Manhunter, not Hannibal. Ignore me. So yeah, so there's Brian Cox. Then there's Anthony Hopkins. There's Mads Mikkelsen, and then you have Gaspar Ulliel. I probably have butchered his last name. He's actually a model for the most part. He's not really an actor. But I really think it's kind of a mix between Anthony Hopkins and Mads Mikkelsen. I think Mads Mikkelsen slightly pips the post on Anthony Hopkins, just purely because there is that kind of the attention to detail of like
depth.
And depth, and then actual like historical backgrounds in Mads Mikkelsen's, where he's from and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, Anthony Hopkins is just he's always everyone's first, really, like Hannibal Lecter, isn't he? So he's got to have a special place in your heart.
Yeah,
I do love him.
A question, because I haven't watched it. I doubt it's a spoiler because I don't think Hannibal goes into Silence of the Lambs, does it? So he doesn't say the famous lines of like, "I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti." He doesn't have like
so nothing in particular, because obviously it's the lead up to his incarceration. So similar to like the Bates Motel, it's the lead up to what we know from the films. It's the lead up to his incarceration. There is essentially, it fills in the gap between Hannibal Rising, which is his childhood, and Red Dragon, where we meet him with like obviously Will Graham. So there's like that gap. This is what that filler is. So he doesn't have quite. I don't think he ever gets around to saying those iconic lines. Though he has so many of his own anyway. It's quite poetic for the most part. Some of the writing, again, probably shouldn't be making people like a cannibal quite as much as people do like Hannibal Lecter. But yeah, he holds a special place in my heart. I don't think he'd eat me. I don't think I'd be good enough meat, to be completely honest with you. I don't eat well enough.
So you said that you had a few. So Hannibal was your favourite. What else is there? I do have another picture on here, so I'm going to hopefully you are going to say it.
Oh, I might not though.
You will.
No, I'm kind of like worried now. I don't think I will now because mine are a bit obscure. So, I'm kind of just gonna like run off a couple of them just to like get the idea. So I like a lot of like horror / murder mystery TV shows. That's kind of like what I like my aesthetic kind of moves towards. Harper's Island, the murder mystery sort of. You never seen it?
And that's the picture I have. No,
shut up! No, it's not. Oh my god, I was about to say. I was like, wow, massive friendship points if you had Harper's Island as a picture. Harper's Island is great. I think it's not based on anything. It's an original to an extent concept. People from this island where there was a mass tragedy where multiple people died. Some of the kids leave the island to then end up going back for a wedding. Like 7 years later, and then the wedding party start mysteriously getting killed off episode by episode. And it kind of leads you to, well, if it's only just started happening now, why is this? So I really liked it. My friend Lisa, who actually is probably a friend in common with you as well, she introduced me to Harper's Island when I first started working with her at Pleasure Beach. So it kind of goes into my childhood, but more of my teenage years. And I have watched it to death. I've watched it so many times. I made Ed watch it. I think it's great. The end, fantastic. That's a brief whistle stop tour of that. My next one, I don't think this is going to be a picture either. It's Dead Set.
It is Davina McCall's Dead Set.
Yeah, it's Davina McCall's Dead Set. I've
seen it, but it's not the picture I have.
It's not the picture, but I love Dead Set. So obviously at the time that Dead Set came out, is that Big Brother was quite a standard thing. It brought in so many views. I was never really massively into Big Brother, though. As much, I know too much pop culture to say that I never watched it. I must have watched it.
Is she?
Literally, like Nikki
Everybody
Graham.
watched that season.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the only thing that anybody watched. But
that's true, actually. And then, but I'm not really fussed about Big Brother the concept anyway. But what about if you were locked in the Big Brother house when there was a zombie apocalypse? That I can get behind, and it was very good. It was a very short season. I don't think this is as big a thing in America because it was a British-made TV series. It was only like 5 episodes. I have it on DVD. It was great. Davina McCall as a zombie, horror acting debut. She did fantastic. What can I say? I have one more, but I don't think you'll have it either. Because I want to talk about it.
I'll be very surprised then if you're not going to talk about it.
Well, I think I'm going to talk about it in a different section, which is the next bit. But I don't know. My last one was going to be Mindhunter.
Okay.
So I might.
It's the picture I have.
No, it's not. You can't take the joke every time because I'm not going to believe you when it comes.
It all happens in Rule of 3. There you go.
So yeah, Mindhunter. I thought it was brilliant. I still need to watch the second season. Don't hate me.
To finish the first.
Well, it took me a while because I kept stopping and starting. But once I actually sat down and watched like the big chunk of it at the end, really, really enjoyed it. I think the thing that brought me in the most is I'm really interested in true crime anyway. So these literal portrayals of these notorious killers, I found extremely interesting. I think the actors that played these horrendous people did fantastic jobs of just really embodying that, and hopefully I hope that stigma doesn't stick with them because sometimes you kind of get typecasted as certain things. I hope that doesn't stick for them. But yeah, they were my other favorites.
So we'll transition on to recent horror, but I think when we talk about horror TV shows, we have to mention American Horror Story.
Yes.
I mean, even if all the seasons aren't that great, I still haven't watched Freak Show because I've heard it's awful, but I've watched every other season. You're going to say it's your favourite now, aren't you?
No, I'm not, because I stopped watching after Coven because I got to like the first 2 episodes of Freak Show and I was like, this is rubbish. I can't be bothered with it.
You skip it. That's the best thing about its anthology.
But again, like, this is going back to that thing I was saying about Dexter. Even if I don't like it, I have to watch every episode. I have to do it. I have to. It's the bullet journaling, like scoring off in your watch list person in me. I have to. I'm an achievement hunter by choice, but it also feeds into TV shows. I need to watch it. But the concept would be my favourites. The execution wasn't fussed. It wasn't one way or another for me.
Just Freak Show.
Just Freak Show. That theme possibly could have been the best theme for me, Freak Show. But no, I didn't really like it.
Do you know any of the other themes from the future seasons?
Yes, I know. I'm currently watching Hotel. I know everything that happens in pretty much all the other seasons just from watching spoilers. But yeah, I know the
because like 1984, like that's definitely up your alley.
So that's the only one I don't really know much about. That's the only one.
It's just basically it's like a slasher film. It's great.
Yeah. So I feel like that would probably be my favourite one, to be fair.
But I do really like Hotel. Everyone says that's really bad, but I do like Hotel. Lady Gaga's alright. I love Matt Bomer, so I'm just happy to see Matt Bomer and stuff.
The only thing that I have with Hotel is that too many of the leading men, I get confused. They all look very, very similar. They've all got dark hair. They've all got amazing bone structure. If you're not Finn Wittrock, I don't know which one you are. That's Finn Wittrock's the only one that I know for sure because he's got the crazy mohawk. Other than that, I get mixed up with who the actual actors are. I know who the characters are, but I get mixed up because especially because Ryan Murphy reuses a lot of the same actors in all of these different shows, Glee, the True Crime Story series. I get confused very easily. But yeah.
But I thought when we talked about horror, we can't just overlook American Horror Story. I think mainly for the mainstream audience, I think American Horror Story will be the main one that they watch because it is massive. It's gone on for season 10 starts soon. They've just announced there's going to be a spin-off in August on Hulu exclusive for American Horror Stories, which will be similar to Freddy's Nightmares and stuff that we talked about before, where they're just doing little stories like Twilight Zone. They're like kind of little stories. And have you watched, is it Room 187? I can't remember what it's called now. Room 2. It's by the Duplass brothers, and it's just basically loads of different.
I like them.
Yeah, it's just different stuff. Is it Room 244? I can't even think now. The Duplass brothers. How do you know the Duplass brothers?
I know the name, and I feel like off the top of my head, I can't tell you what I know them from.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
I just saw that they did Creep. I was like, there you go. Room 104 it was, yeah. And it's just basically Room 104 is just loads of different stories, but every story revolves around this room near an airport. And every episode is in this hotel room. And they've got all different actors that come in and do all different stories. Some of them are like Sierra. There's one of the best episodes of that. It's not horror, but it's all silent. It's just basically all ballet dancing and stuff like that. The whole story's told through ballet dance. Really, really good. I haven't finished it, but there's a Michael Shannon episode which is really good as well. But you get like big actors in it as well. But
I think if you'd asked me about favourite horror show when I was about 16, 17, in the depths of my Tumblr like addiction, then American Horror Story would have been probably the one that I would have brought out. I think because
season 1 is amazing though, like Murder House.
I personally really, really enjoy Murder House. I've watched Murder House the most, and I have it on DVD. That's probably why I watched it the most. And I think it is my favourite, but only because Asylum season 2 would be my favourite if it didn't have anything to do with aliens. Why did it have to have aliens in it? No need. If it didn't have that, fine. Favourite.
Yeah, just one of those where it's just like, I know, let's take a left turn here. You got the banana, banana. Banana, and then
game.
Yeah, and then you have aliens. But everyone says Coven is their favourite for the main majority of them all. And I'm sure you know, like there is like a slight reunion in Apocalypse. Like Apocalypse has weaving stories throughout all of them, which is really, really good. Like I love stuff like that, and like I said, they were playing the characters from Coven as well. I feel like Sarah Paulson was playing 4 characters in that season.
See, this is the thing. Like, I think it depends on if I like a season or not, on how much I like Sarah Paulson and Evan Peters as characters in it. That's the bar to be set, to be fair. Which I think is why Asylum does it so well for me. It just then had to go off on Aliens, and I don't know why it did, but it did. So yeah, I think that's why that one. But yeah, there's a lot to cover with American Horror Story.
Evan Peters is really good in Hotel. Playing the,
Well, yeah, he's only just come in from where I'm up to now with it, but yes, he's currently my favourite character in that season.
He's
Absolutely.
pretty good in Election Night as well. I can't remember what that's called.
Cult.
Yeah, he is Cult. That's the one. Yeah, like he's like Evan Peters is the best one out of all of them. I would say, like, because there's one season he missed. I can't remember which one it was. But I'd say Evan Peters. The whole show revolves around Sarah Paulson. But like,
I was going to say,
Peters
I was like, Sarah Paulson
is the best character. Like when he's in it, he can elevate it to like the characters that he plays are really good.
Yeah, true. But yeah, what about recent horror TV show for you?
Recent horror? I'm rewatching Dexter, so does that count?
No, we're talking about more recent release. And don't say the new season of Dexter because it's not out yet.
I can't wait for that. That's the main reason we're watching. We're rewatching it. I'll be completely honest. I don't think there has been a lot. I'm trying like I could like my mind's just gone completely blank and I'm forgetting stuff. Like I said, Room 104. That was 2017. That's still going. That was really good from the ones that I've watched. And then stuff like American Horror Story is still going. Supernatural just finished last year. Like that started getting strong again towards the end. And I'm trying to think of anything that I've recently watched that I really enjoyed. That was horror. Scream Queens was really good, and that's kind of going back a few years. But I know what yours are. You getting a sad face now because if it's what I think it is, I haven't watched it.
Well, this makes me sad because you're saying all of these like made for longevity shows, which sometimes I think makes it culpable to filler episodes, and that just makes me like. So my pick is gonna be Haunting a Hill House.
That's the picture I have.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It is.
I do have the other one hiding behind there, Bly Manor as well. But
well, yeah,
that's hiding behind the little graphics.
Yeah, so I love Haunting of Hill House. I have watched Haunting of Hill House 4 times, and I'm thinking of rewatching it again for a 5th, just because, like, I just love it so much, and it's very emotive. It makes me sad, but it just makes me sad, and it's got a fantastic cast that you just can't. It's that that like Mike Flanagan, fantastic cinematography, filming, directing, actors, and then Bly Manor. I wouldn't necessarily say it is horror. It has horror tropes in it, horror ideas in it. I don't necessarily.
I thought it was perfectly splendid.
It's perfectly splendid, yes. It's very much it's more of like a dark, like gothic love story more than anything. And it just, I watched it all in one day, Bly Manor, and I was a mess at the end of it. But a lot of people didn't like Bly Manor. A lot of people didn't, and I think it was because Haunting a Hill House, unfortunately, had set the bar so high with like jump scares and just some unsettling imagery and things like that. That I think Bly Manor was always going to have to be literally amazing, superseding to outbeat it. But you should watch it. You should definitely watch Haunting Hill House.
I do really want to. I'm just going through. I've got an app called TV Time because you know how much TV I watch. And I'm trying to go through some of the most recent TV shows. Stuff like earlier stuff like Ghost Whisperer and True Calling. Like they were great.
Never really got on it. To be fair, Reaper. Ghost Whisperer gets. Oh, I liked Reaper though. Actually, I did like Reaper.
And I'm just going through, like, most recently. Again, I haven't watched them all, so I can't really talk about them. But I'm sure you probably have, or maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
Like, do you count Santa Clarita Diet? I haven't finished it.
It's got horror elements, but then again, it's where do you draw the line at a horror TV show? Because in theory, you could say that Twin Peaks has horror elements, but I wouldn't class it as a horror TV show.
Yeah. The Exorcist TV show, I watched series 1 of that. That was really good.
Never seen it.
And that's kind of more of a mini series. Like I said, I enjoyed that. I haven't finished Castle Rock. Like, you'd love Castle Rock.
Not watched that either yet.
You know what Castle Rock is, though?
Yeah, I know what Castle Rock is. But I think this is something that you are a good mix of film and TV, but you watch more TV than I do. And my TV viewing is never on time. I'm only just getting around to watching Schitt's Creek for the first time.
Same.
Like,
I've just finished series 1.
Well, I'm 2 episodes away from finishing season 1. But anyway, that's a different podcast. So things like, I watched a couple, like last week before, I finished American Crime Story, the assassination of Giuliani Versace. I really, really liked that, considering I like the OJ one as well. But again, I'm like, what, 5 years too late to the party for some of these?
But to be fair, I mean, you're up to date. They still haven't made the next one yet, so you're not behind. But again, this is the thing with what's it called, Ryan Murphy. All of his shows are just anthologies. Like, you could watch that one and then watch OJ. You could watch. Yeah. So they're not really in order. Same with American Horror Story. You can watch them in any order. It doesn't matter. I mean, you say that there is little bits of.
I was gonna say this
later on.
When I think after you get to once you get to season 4, I think that's where the point where it starts to get. You have to kind of watch them in. Yeah, you have to kind of watch them in order, or at least watch the first 4 seasons before you watch the latest season.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure there is some freak show elements later on. In the seasons, because like I said, Apocalypse crossovers basically every season, but it's just that clown. I've seen that clown. I know he's from Freak Show, so that's all you need to know. Really.
Twisty. He is very
clown.
See, and I think this is the sort of thing of these TV horror shows kind of utilize a lot of like quite generic fears, so things like clowns, and it puts people off. Like massively with these sorts of things. And then I think something with like horror TV shows as well is that it's very hard to have an original concept nowadays, because there is so much that's already been made that you would kind of work on. So like Haunted Hill House based on the book and things like that. So yeah, I guess it's kind of just like, what would you want to see going forward?
What would you like to see going forward? And she says that she's not even like, you don't even like public speaking. And you look at these transitions that you can pull out of there now. So that is the question. Which horror movie or franchise would you like to see as a TV show? We've already had Scream as a TV show. I don't know if you count Nightmare on Elm Street, because it had Freddy's Nightmares technically. It was the character, but not the story. I'm trying to think of what Exorcist has become one now as well, which, like I said, it's still in the same like universe, because Linda Blair comes back as Reagan later in like the end of series 1. So yeah, you've got her coming back as that. I'm trying to think, is there any others that I'm forgetting?
So there is Hannibal, but there also is Clarice, the like Agent Starlin TV series that's just happened as well. You also have things that there's things in the pipeline that are coming up as well.
Yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer's coming out soon.
There's a Hellraiser TV show in the works as well.
Yeah. See what I'd really like to see. It's kind of already. Oh my god. We're going all the way back to the start now, because I was going to say, like when you talk about horror and stuff, like Urban Legend is amazing. Like, I love the film, and that would be a great TV show. But then I'm like, well, it's all about creepypastas, and then it's like, no, my early memories are You Afraid of the Dark.
Oh, I didn't even. Oh, I had another wild card from TV shows.
What?
I was gonna say the Channel
Channel
Zero.
Zero.
Um,
I've seen an episode or two of that.
so I watched Candle Cove that season all in one go. That was amazing.
It's that
But
weird
again,
little pirate thing on the TV, isn't it, or something?
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I watched half of that season.
it builds upon, like you say, like with urban legends. So I think it depends how you want to go, like, like urban legends, creepy pastas. There's a lot of content out there, and sometimes it's just not done very well, especially around creepy pastas. And I think that's what puts people off a lot from like exploring it as a viable option. It just needs
Yeah,
to be done right.
because they did the Slender Man movie. I haven't seen it. I've seen the documentary Beware the Slender Man, which
Mm.
is good, about the two girls that killed this other girl because the Slender Man sold her to. But
They didn't
that
kill her,
documentary is,
did they?
he stabbed her like 20
Yeah,
times
she
in the
survived, I'm
forest.
sure.
Did she? They got arrested for it though,
They
didn't
did. They both got arrested for it. Yes.
they? Yeah, fair enough. I just meant, like you said, but I haven't seen the movie. I don't know if you have.
Mm-mm.
But that kind of like goes along. I'd love to see it done well, like creepypastas. And then, like I said, I know what he did last summer will be coming out soon. I know Amazon have greenlit that. So whenever that comes out on Amazon, that should be exciting to watch. I'm trying to think of anything else. What would you like to see?
So I don't know whether. So I've been thinking about this question a bit today and like the last couple of days because I really don't know because I'm not a massive TV show person. I'm not really too fussed, but just thinking about it this today, I was thinking maybe I would want to see um so like Silent Hill. The Silent Hill.
Here she goes again with
Here she
Silent
goes
Hill.
again with Silent Hill. I know. But not only the games, there's also like comics that support like sort of like little stories of people that have wandered into to Silent Hill and things like that. And I think the premise of the different games give you different perceptions of what Silent Hill is. We don't really have that like true vision of what it is. So I think a TV series could investigate that more. I think even if it was kind of like, a season is following similar to
10
like,
episode HBO
well, yeah, just
miniseries.
something like that. And it's like, maybe there's a storyline where it's like a flashback of like when the city was like the town was still being used, maybe to someone in modern day, stuff like that. But that I know Silent Hill
That's the
again is
thing,
very
like,
niche.
I know we're not talking about it, but because you kind of talked about games, it reminded me, obviously, HBO are doing The Last of Us as a TV show.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar to that. Like, HBO are doing it 10 episodes. Like, Last of Us, like I said, I've got it tattooed on me. Like, Last of Us, because I love it so much. But my other one, I just thought, what I'd love to see, don't know how it would work, but how good would a Good Guys Doll TV show be? Chucky.
Would it though? So this is the thing, is like, because obviously Chucky is one instance of the dolls.
Mhm.
So what would that be? That the doll would end up like infiltrating other people's houses? That there was maybe something that was kind of more along the lines of the newer sort of re-envision where it's kind of like a malfunction and we have like a small like toy soldiers situation going on. How
You, yeah,
how would you do it?
I've watched the remake.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a malfunction that it happens in the remake?
It's to do with the programming.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the way it would have to be. Whereas in the original, a serial killer dies and his spirit goes in the doll.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So like if you were trying to do it from that perspective, it makes it a bit hard because you're kind of like limited to that one doll. But if it is like a malfunction thing, you kind of go down that you open up more of a how it affects different places, different houses, things like that.
I'd love to see a Small Soldiers TV show. Just saying, Small Soldiers is great.
Love that film. Love that film. It's a great film. Obsessed with it. It's great. I want an Archer. I want Gorgonite.
We are
dolls.
Gorgonites.
I want them, but they're so expensive, man. Because they're obviously very niche nowadays.
Well, that's the thing. I check every year. Like the one thing I always want is a Turbo Man doll from Jingle All the Way. You can't get them anymore, or they're like £500. But
I'm
like,
sure if you asked the right person, they'd probably make you one, but it'd be very expensive.
yeah, but you want the Turbo Man doll from the 1996 film Jingle All the Way. You want the
Exactly that
authentic
one.
that Anakin Skywalker held in his hand. But
I've just realised I've got Pyramid Head next to me. I've
yeah,
just been.
it's just Silent Hill everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
But just playing with it. I'm pretty sure everybody listening enjoyed that. But,
Yeah. I have a small crocheted Pyramid Head doll for people that would like to know. There you go.
you can always check that out on YouTube and have a little one. I'm sure you'll probably post it on Instagram.
I was going to say, you might even see a picture of him on Instagram. He is my little mascot. So.
But I think it would be interesting to see. Like, I've only seen Silent Hill, the film. There's so much in depth that you probably could do in a TV show about the town's history or the characters as well. But yeah, it's kind of a difficult one because it's the thing with Hollywood is nothing's original anymore. They're always trying to remake or rehash stuff. So exactly. I just thought I'd ask that question if there was anything that you could think of. We'll probably go off air and think about 10 more, but I just in the moment couldn't think. But for me, maybe something like Child's Play, you go for Silent Hill. I mean, like I said, Scream is okay. I enjoyed parts of it, but yeah.
It's one of those things, isn't it? Is that if it's something that you really, really, really enjoy as a film, the TV show has to hit a certain standard.
And Saw's going to be a TV show.
Is it? Even I didn't know that one.
They've announced Saw 10 and a spin-off TV show as well. So Saw 10 could be Spiral 2 or a John Kramer story. The spin-off hasn't been told what it's going to be.
I'm not going to lie.
But I'd prefer the spin-off TV show to be Spiral.
Yeah.
That would make more sense with the chase and everything that's going on due to the conclusion of the film.
Yeah.
But Saw needs to be John Kramer for me.
Yeah, I absolutely had no problem with Spiral at all. I think the problem with we've gone off completely off topic here, but
that's what we do. We're wrapping
up. But the story with Saw is that after the hit or miss that it was Jigsaw, it really needs to kind of bring it back to bring people back into the original storyline, if that makes sense, because it kind of made things a bit confusing and or pointless. There were some gaps. I
mean, everybody raves about how great Marvel is and stuff like that. I mean, let's just do a Marvel. Let's open up a multiverse. Bring John Kramer back to life.
Just bring him back.
Just bring him back from a different dimension and basically just let the torture begin, basically. And
let the games begin.
And on that note, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Bloody Brilliant Podcast. We'll have everything on there. You can see our schedule. We will be watching Happy Death Day over the next 2 weeks. I will be rewatching it. I have seen it. Emma has not. Wrong way. Emma has not. So we will be talking about Happy Death Day, and then we'll have another episode of us just chatting stuff. Trying not to swear, but there you go. And then after that, Emma chose the film, which is
it's The Descent.
Yes.
But we might have a different topic in between those. So our usual rota is film review, general chit chat like today, then film review. But if you go to Instagram, you'll get the schedule.
Exactly. Checking out at Bloody Brilliant Podcast on Instagram. You can send us your questions, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you everybody for listening or watching. Happy days.
Bye.